Now, we're still not done vaccinating all our frontline health workers, but once we are, who else should be prioritized apart from our 60-plus citizens? On the 2nd of May, UNESCO urged all countries to prioritize teachers in their national COVID-19 vaccine rollout to ensure that education can continue safely and that schools can remain open. Last year's enforced experiment with virtual schooling was not without consequences, it seems, and many are loath to return to this form of education. At present, 19 countries around the world have proposed that their teachers are a priority. Forbes, a US financial publication, claims there's a strong correlation between prioritizing teachers and countries where teachers are held in high regard. What does that say about our approach in South Africa? To discuss the situation, I'm joined by SADTU General Secretary Mugwena Maluleke. Thank you so much for joining me. Now, on the UNESCO site, South Africa's teacher mortality rate is specifically mentioned. Now, how many teachers have we lost to COVID in South Africa?
Hi, good evening, and thank you for having us. So far, we have exceeded about 3,400 that we have lost to COVID as the teachers, apart from the education support personnel that we have also lost in the country since last year.
That sounds like a horrendous number. What are you, as SADTU, doing about protecting your members?
Well, it is a horrendous number indeed, because one death in the teaching profession or any other death in the country is too much, and clearly it's regrettable. We have discussed this matter with the Department of Education to the extent that we have jointly, as the teacher union and the Department of Education, have approached the Department of Health to say that the teachers needs to be prioritized in order to ensure that learning does not stop. And we had been promised by the end of April the teachers would have been vaccinated. However, there were delays, and those particular delays were explained, but obviously we were not convinced as a union. We again had a meeting last week where we had an emphasis again to the Department of Education to say, one, we are an organized profession. We have got data that is formidable to making sure that the Department of Health can always trace the teacher wherever the teacher is. So once they can be able to vaccinate them, whether it's in terms of the first jab and then the second one, they will be able to get the teachers where they work, and they're not supposed to use the schools as centers of vaccination, because schools have always been the center of the community where we have been vaccinating. So the delay is really not understandable. We're not convinced about this particular delay in our country, unless we are being told that it is because of vaccine imperialism, where our country is treated as a non-existing country like many other countries where they're not able to access the vaccine because of the cost that is related to that.
Mr. Maluleke, you guys are not pushovers at SADTU. You know how to organize. You've been a very strong union for a very long time. Why would you sit back and accept that you must stand in line? That's not your style. Why aren't you doing anything more about this at this moment?
Well, this is a health issue, and clearly it is that we have got to follow those particular protocols that are there as an organization. It is not something that we can declare a dispute now and therefore be able to say, look, we are going to the street. We are using all the protocols that are there, all the avenues that are there. We are exploiting them. On Tuesday, we have run a survey about vaccination so that we can then put more pressure on the Department of Health to do that. So
I think a lot of your membership know that one of your favorite words is to demand things when you are not getting what you want. You do that to protect your membership. You do that when it comes to pay increases. You demand. Why aren't you demanding that vaccines be rolled out to your membership, to all teachers in the country that are working in the front line?
Well, it's not that when we are engaging the department, it's not that we're not demanding. We have put that demand, as we always do. However, the Department of Education is not responsible for the vaccination, and therefore we need to be able to send a very clear message to the National Command Council that is responsible for this, as well as those that are responsible for the rollout of the vaccine. It's not that the unions, in particular our union, is quiet about it. We are working day and night in making sure that the message is sent through to say enough is enough. We cannot have our children not being taught because the teachers are not well and the vaccine is, there's a confusion in the country. Let's be honest. We don't know where exactly the rollout is at this particular point in time. We're told that the health workers are the first, and we understood that we cannot be competing with the health workers. They are an essential service, and therefore we all depend on them. And we were understanding that immediately after the healthcare workers, the teachers will then be in the next group that will be vaccinated. So yes, we are continuing to fight, and we'll continue to fight for our teachers.
But you don't have a date right now. That's the problem, isn't it?
We have been, I can show you that we have been demanding a date. We don't have a date because the government does not know exactly what is happening now. I mean, people have registered. We are encouraging our teachers to register, and we are encouraging our teachers to go for vaccination.
But your teachers can't register unless they are over 60. The rest of them are potentially vulnerable, and therefore I would wonder how comfortable they are teaching when they're in a very full classroom. And now we're entering winter, and of course Gauteng's entering the third wave, which means windows will be shut because everybody's cold inside the classroom. And of course that creates more risk. How much urgency is there? I'm not hearing the urgency, particularly around this third wave, from you in terms of your responsibilities towards your membership.
We are very clear about our position. Our position is that all teachers have got to be vaccinated, and those that are entitled or are eligible for registration, we've been encouraging them. Even in terms of hesitance, we have dealt with that, and we're dealing with that on Tuesday to say, please, as the teachers, please allow yourself and take that particular decision as an individual to be vaccinated because we need to save lives. So there's an urgency in there. It's only that maybe it is not in the papers, but you can track, and then there is a paper trail with that. We have communicated with the Department of Education. We proposed that immediately when this issue of Johnson & Johnson was creating a problem. We questioned it. Why do you stop? Because it is not. We got the answer that it is not the government that has stopped the Johnson & Johnson. It was Johnson & Johnson. So yes, many of our teachers, we have got records, and therefore for us, we are an organized profession. We can be tested, we can be traced, they can do anything. And we have
you've gone over that ground before. So what happens on Tuesday? Yeah. On Tuesday, does SADTU, does the Department of Education put out a statement with clear direction to convince and satisfy all teachers in this country that they are going to be protected, that they are important, that they are a priority, and this is the date when vaccinations start for the entire profession? Is that what's going to happen on Tuesday?
On Tuesday is a joint survey by the unions themselves, again on the vaccination and so forth. The date, we have been demanding that particular date from the department. They have not issued the date. They came back to us on Saturday last week and said that the Department of Health, together with the National Corona Command Center, are going to be communicating exactly when the teachers will be vaccinated. They have not come back to us with that particular date. We have demanded that we have a weekly meeting to monitor the issue of the third wave and making sure that indeed the teachers and the learners and those who are working in our schools are safe. And therefore it is something that as the nation, we've got to be behind our teachers and not only saying the union must do that, the union must do this and that. It is a responsibility of the society to making sure that the government is on track with the vaccination, because everyone is under the threat, everyone is vulnerable, and therefore for the economy to drive, we need the teachers to be vaccinated, we need the healthcare workers to be vaccinated.
Thank you, Mugwena Maluleke, SADTU General Secretary. Of course, it sounds like we don't have any clear answers yet, and SADTU really needs to get in there and fight for the teachers and give you some clear communication about when this is all going to happen.